here we are, the humble beginning. We jump into this by creating our character. And as is the case in a lot of games I play, I do want a custom looking cool character, but I have no idea really where to start with that or where it's going to finish. So what I end up doing most of the time is just clicking the randomize all button until I get a guy who's pretty goofy and fun looking. So I'm going to do that for a minute or two and we'll see what we end up with. Okay, I kind of like the look of this guy. I just kind of have an affinity or thing for red. Red and black together, they look pretty good. He looks trustworthy enough. I could use his referral link to download a VPN or something like that. Also, I want to make sure that we don't forget Ironman mode, and this time it's going to be hardcore. See how long I can go without dying. Okay, I thought about it for a couple of minutes, and I think I came up with a pretty good name. I chose Dinomancy because, the new Jurassic World movie is coming out, and whenever I have to think of a word, I always think of, current events. And also, it's just really hard to come up with, a one-word unique name that isn't already taken, so I went with the first thing I could find, to be completely honest. I was not expecting this at all. It looks like Tutorial Island is back, and it's been RS3ified. Okay, check this out. You get a pop-up notification whenever you do anything in this game. Should only take a few seconds to catch a fish as he catches it instantaneously. It looks like the mining and smithing rework has been added to Tutorial Island. Everything else is pretty standard as you would see in Old School or something like that, although it is a little bit sped up. It almost feels like they're worried you're going to lose interest or something by playing the old classic tutorial. This dude didn't even make me kill a chicken to leave. I just get to peace out of here. Okay, here we are in game after all that. The last time I did an Ironman account, I laid out all my goals. I had this grand plan for the series in episode 1. I talked about the things I wanted to accomplish. I think this time I'm not really going to do any of that. The goal is to have fun and to experience a lot of the new content that's came out in the last 7 years since I last played this mode in any sort of significant way. I think for me the biggest thing is just to slow play the game, enjoy it. Maybe I can start off with these arbitrary tasks where I have to cut one log, but then I have to catch 12 crayfish. Why is it one log and 12 crayfish? Who knows? Is it important? Not really. But another thing is the RS Wiki actually has this really cool guide for returning players which basically just lists all the content that's been added since RS3 released. The first thing that really stands out to me about just going through these Birthorpe tasks is they start you off gentle, man. I don't even have an action bar yet. I haven't been asked to do any sort of new content at all. This is very much geared for people who are maybe a little bit familiar with RuneScape but haven't played in a long time. Like me. I just took a boat from Taverley to get to Lumbridge, and it made me kind of do a double take and question, is that even possible given RuneScape's geography? But, technically it is. You can kind of just sail through the ocean here and up the river to get to Lumbridge. Although, to be honest, if you take a minor look at this river, you can tell it would be a little bit difficult to physically get a boat down a tiny little stream like this. Anyway, I digress. I think I finally found out what we want our first major direction to be, and let's do some archaeology. Archaeology's relatively new content still, I would think. I don't have a whole lot of experience doing the skill. Maybe it's not a great idea as your first skill in the game. I have no idea if we're going to get gated at some point because we don't have the stats or quests or areas unlocked to do other stuff, but let's just start off with it and see if there's anything that can really benefit a low-level account in archaeology. A few minutes and one membership activation later, we are started on archaeology. Turns out the answer to my earlier question is yes. There are some benefits to early game from starting off this skill right away in the form of these relic powers. As for what else we're going to get out of doing archaeology, I'm not sure, but the problem with archaeology is that it's very easy to do. It's very chill and relaxed. It's got all these collection logs and unlocks that just really get the inner collector in me going, and I just don't want to stop. So we'll see how far we go with archaeology. I'm going to try to not spend the next few weeks doing this, but I'm not going to kid myself. That's absolutely a possibility here. Okay, a couple of hours of archaeology later. We still haven't done anything other than this upon completing the kind of Birthorpe second tutorial, and I'm quickly realizing a flaw in starting out with archaeology. Upgrading your Matic either requires some GP to buy one from the Matic shop, or a smithing level to make one. We have neither of those things. I'm not sure if there's a good way of getting GP from archaeology, which means we probably have to take a break and either go smith a Matic, or find a way to make some money to buy one to prevent using a bronze matic for a long time. Instead of making money, I just decided to go the mining and smithing route because this is going to be a good way to get matics for archaeology and equipment for combat. So there's level 20. I can make my steel matic for continuing the archaeology grind now. This should be another milestone, 30 smithing here. This means we can make matics and melee gear also up to mithril. So we've started off with some low intensity skilling on this account for the most part, but I want to start exploring the world and doing some stuff. So first order of business is, if you talk to Gudrick, even though they have removed the Ashdale tutorial, you can still get the Pathfinder gear from him, which is a set of hybrid armor that you can use at level 1, and it's really great for starting out with, combat, quests, slayer tasks, anything you would need armor for. And then the next thing I'm going to do is hop into ports, and even though we're nowhere near being able to send off ships, you can still help Meg, even if you don't have the requirements for ports, and you can come back to her once a week and answer her questions, and then get an XP lamp and some cash as well. While we're in Lumbridge, I made a quick stop off at Daemonheim because I really want to grab the Ring of Kinship. And there it is. It's really nice to have just an ability to teleport to a bank whenever, and this is the best way to do that when you haven't unlocked anything else yet. Next stop is Mascab. I really wanted to try out Nemi Forest because I know that's a great way to get some early game XP and some difficult to train Ironman skills. And I know it's somewhere over here, just a matter of finding where it is. This took me way longer than I want to admit to figure it out, but apparently you just walk into the forest. I was expecting some sort of clickable interface that says enter Nemi Forest, but no, you just kind of walk into it and the world shifts and here you are. Unfortunately, there wasn't a completed Nemi Forest world or anything, just because of the weird time that I'm trying to do this. So I have no idea what I'm doing. At least we got a couple of prayer levels out of it somehow. There's the first quest done on this account, Druidic Ritual. And there's Woof Whistle done. Wow, that actually starts you off with a lot of gold charms. 275 feels like quite a few. And it's the next day. We just finished clearing a Nemi forest that had the entire thing opened up and scouted already. Man, that was so much easier. So with the release of the Elder God Wars dungeon, you don't actually need any combat stats in order to do Reaper tasks anymore. We're about to get our first assignment here, and I think there's only one thing that I can get, but turns out you do have to enable group bosses in order to be assigned the new skilling boss. So now we can get a task, and we are guaranteed at this combat level, because we are only level 7, to be assigned Croesus, who is the new and currently only skilling boss in RuneScape. So the aim for the next couple of days as I play is going to be to try to get up some of the skills that you use to defeat the Croesus, and these are construction, fishing, mining, hunter, and woodcutting. First on the menu is hunter, and this is the most important stat to get up right away because when you're really, really low level at Croesus, from everything I have read and heard anyway, it's easiest to go with hunter as your stat that you focus on. This is my first time ever doing the museum test without having a guide up or anything in the background, but to be honest, most of this is pretty self-explanatory. Also, a lot of these are 2 answers that are obviously a joke and then one that sounds plausible, so you just pick that one. Okay, that's all of them. So here's our start on both Hunter and Slayer, level 9 in both. So after 9 Hunter, the best way to level up to 19 is to do the Vinesweeper minigame, and I'm just trying to find a tool leprechaun. There isn't one beside the Lumbridge Castle anymore. I looked in Taverley, there's not, a tree patch where it used to be anymore. Don't worry, I eventually figured out that it got moved, but it just took a second to wade through those old memories from, playing this game for years and years and years and expecting the tree patch to be in a certain spot. I'm just running through the countryside unlocking some lodestones, and the circus was in town, so I think I might stop off and do that. I think I used to faithfully do this circus every week for, several years on end, just because that tiny amount of agility XP you get was so worth it compared to actually having to do agility. Okay, this is just pathetic. I keep missing from point blank range. Well, that was quite the trek, but I finally made it to Yanil to buy some stuff to train Hunter. Okay, one more rabbit to feed, and that should be step 1 of Hunter done. We can move on to catching birds instead. I also took a quick stop to do my god statues, the 3 that we have access to so far already. We've been at this hunting thing for a little while, and this one here should be 40 Hunter. And I'll take a break here. 40 seems like a decent milestone. So, you know, one of the downsides of being brand new to this whole statue sculpting thing is your first statue of Ziliana, it doesn't exactly turn out to be all that lifelike. Oh no, I missed the level because this skill is actually really AFK. But I just got 40 fishing, and the reason for that is it's another skill that you can use in Croesus, although probably not the best one for a noob like myself, but also just to get some starter food for doing combat. So I decided to start on just a bit of dungeoneering, not going to be doing a ton of it here. I'm basically just going until the last floor I can reach, but this is level 20. You'll see why I wanted to do dungeoneering in a second, but there's a very useful resource dungeon pretty early on in the game that I wanted to unlock. And that dungeon that I wanted to unlock, by getting 20 dungeoneering, I think I actually only needed 15 or something like that, was this one, this resource area in the Dwarven Mine. It's just a really great place to mine mithril, and there's a bank chest, and I think there's coal in here as well. Oh, there's gold. Where'd the coal go? So we don't actually need a lot of gear before starting Croesus, but the one thing that we do need is a magic butterfly net, which improves well, the catch rate of catching things with the butterfly net. And how we get that is we have to trade a couple of implings to this dude here in Puro Puro. So I'm going to, actually it's this dude. Anyway, I'm going to catch the implings I need and then see if we can't get ourselves that net. Well, it turns out you need 42 Hunter to catch eclectic implings, so I had to return to birds for a little while just to get that. And back to Puro Puro now. Okay, I was wrong about the eclectic impling. I actually just needed an essence impling, so I got 42 Hunter for no reason. Alright, here's our magic butterfly net. Apparently what it does is it reduces Hunter catch XP, but it increases catch rate. The sheer size and scope of the new Centiston area is kind of blowing my mind now. And I know this place has been out for about a year, so it's not exactly brand new to most people, but I can't wait to, you know, just be a higher level and kind of experience more of the content. At the moment, the only thing that we can do here is just the skilling boss. All the rest of the stuff is very much in the distant future and is mostly late game, but it'll be exciting to just check out everything that can be done in this area. Okay, this should be my first Croesus kill. I'm not going to lie, it took a few attempts, and the reason why is because I was not quite quick enough to dodge some mechanics, and I can only really take 3 or 4 hits before I get knocked out because my skills are so low. And I also don't have any way to heal because we don't have a way to make super restores at 4 Herblore. So I wasn't expecting much because my score wasn't very high, but we got 171k cash from that, whatever these are, and some decent charms, so that's actually really not bad. It actually took quite a while to get a second KC, but there we go, there it is. The one downside of not having a way to restore my stats is on the kills I do survive, I kind of just have to die to reset them, so I only really have an opportunity every other kill. So we were able to get a third KC at Croesus, but I didn't contribute enough to get a drop, so there is nothing to show there. So we are going to end off this first episode here. The plan for the future is, we'll see. I am planning on uploading maybe once a week or so. I am in the middle of transitioning from just working a full-time job to starting a grad program, so although I may not necessarily be less busy, my schedule will be more flexible as it's not going to be a regularly structured 9 to 5 sort of job. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm really looking forward to checking out all of the content that's come out in RS3 over the past few years. I do understand most of it is, you know, more high-level end-game type content, so it will take a while to build up to it. But there are still some fun things that we can do right away, like the archaeology skill, the Croesus boss, and I'm sure there's other mid-game stuff that's come out too, such as quests and new areas. I'm just not aware of it as of yet, but it will be really fun to explore and find out. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.